Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 199 of a year of change. I know that Tuesdays we normally add in a new YouTuber. Lately it's been people that are just sort of starting out or, just trying to get to that point where they're comfortable talking about losing weight. And we've added people in before that have lost a lot of weight and that are, continually going. But I want to switch gears a little bit just where we're coming up to day 200 tomorrow. And not exactly get off topic, but just sort of, I don't even know what you would call this. It's not a shout out. Basically, if you're watching this, you know who he is. I just sort of want to talk about Obese to Beast. I'm not going to go into depth because, honestly, if you're watching this, you've watched his stuff. And right now, he's pretty much the go-to person for weight loss. For YouTube. And when he started a year and a half ago, he had already lost the weight and he just sort of got to a point where he wanted to help other people, and he really has done quite a bit. And it's a little different because for the majority of people that we have on the channel here, it's, they're either just starting out or they're continually going. They haven't really reached that goal that they've set for themselves yet. That it's sort of a continuing thing. And the odd thing is that, for many of us anyway, when you look at him, he's gotten to where we want to be. He's achieved it. He's achieved it. He's achieved it. He's lost the weight. But I think it does sort of show that even when you get to the point that you want to be, that it doesn't end. It keeps on going. And that's, I think, probably the best part of it. When I first started doing this, I tried to, it sounds bad, tried to avoid watching a lot of the more popular YouTube channels that are out there for weight loss because when you're trying to sort of find your own footing, I didn't want to just latch on to someone else and say, oh, well, then this is a good topic. This is what I'll talk about this time, or, things like that. So I have avoided quite a bit of it. But there's a lot of stuff in there that's very, very helpful, and he continues to do it. And the thing is that I guess it shows that, he started out bigger than I was, or am, I should say. No, or was, as well. So, not by much. Keep that in mind. Not by much. But, why did I say that twice? That's weird. It sounds like the ending of a really cheesy movie, doesn't it? Like, I don't know what to tell you, Bill. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway. But he was a bit bigger than I was when I first started out on this, by about 30 pounds, 35 pounds. So that's why I say, not too much bigger than I was. But you can actually see there's a couple of things. Number one, it shows that it is achievable, that you can do it. Sometimes it really gets sort of just, not just frustrating, but disheartening when you're not making the progress that you want to make, or you slip up like I did last week, and you just get to that point where you just think it's taking so long, and I don't think I'm ever going to get to where I need to be. Logic can tell you that the numbers are eventually going to be going down, no matter what you're doing. If you're exercising and you're eating properly and doing what you need to do without going overboard, then they will come off. And it's been very slow progress, but it has been progress. But every now and then, it's nice to see someone like Obese to Beast or Kim Monica that you can look at and say, it does work. It is going to happen. I need to be a little more patient. But the thing is with him is that it also shows that it doesn't stop once the weight is gone. He's down to pretty much his target weight, but he's continuing on. So, which should be a little frustrating. Or defeatist, but it really isn't, because no matter what size you are right now, if you're just looking to lose 30 or 40 pounds, or if you're 500 or 600 pounds, wherever you're standing right now, that that you can do it, but it's not just going to be a simple matter of saying, good, I'm done, and now where do I go from here? Him being able to maintain that and continually improve is very helpful as well. And as I say, I didn't really sort of I didn't want to latch on to anyone really, just to say, well, here's what I'm going to do then, and I'm going to just sort of follow the same suit, because it's very easy, especially when you're first starting out with stuff like this, just to sort of grab on to someone and say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. This worked for them, so I'm going to try to do it. And I mean, his approach is very simple. It's take in less calories than you're expending, and it will happen. The weight will come off eventually. So it's in the same vein of what we've been doing, just trying to eat healthier, get to a point where we aren't eating, entire blocks of cheese, which we have done. I have anyway. I'm sure some of you out there have done the same thing. Getting to a point where we react differently around food, and not necessarily so that we're just eating all rice cakes all day, every day, but getting to a point where we can eat like a normal person. But I'm sort of going off the rails here because I always end up coming back to that. But this is not really more, this isn't really so much a, hey, go take a look at this person because you have no idea who he is. Everybody knows who he is. Anyone that has tried to lose weight, or if you are losing weight, or if you have lost weight and you're still following, it's still a source of information. It's still a source where you can go to get support. And really, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. And that's sort of what we wanted to create here as well. And although we're still very small, at the time I'm recording this, the group that we've been able to find with people, they have been really, really good. And it's one of those things that, you sort of expect when you're starting this out to, get a lot of abuse from people and just have, because the internet is full of shitheads. And you're just expecting hateful comments and insults and everything else. And it really hasn't been that way. The support, I think, for what we're trying to do, not just here, but on pretty much any weight loss channel, the support far outweighs any idiot that's going to come on and try to make a snarky comment. So, I mean, that's very, very good. And again, I'm going off the rails. I'm trying to stay focused on this. But I think the main reason why it's a person that we should all sort of not necessarily go up and say, okay, well, this is exactly what we're going to do, because this is why we're sort of gathering different people, so that you can take the information that you need, find out what's going to work for you, find out something that you're going to stick to, and do that. And it may not be the exact same thing that I'm doing, or that he was doing, or that Kimonica was doing, but it's going to be something that's going to work for you, and that's why you need a whole slew of information. For the same reason why we sort of opened up our diets as well. Again, not diet, but diet, so that we have a lot more variety. We're eating a lot more fruits and vegetables and a bunch of different things that are, just sort of to give us a little bit more wiggle room. It's probably not a good term to use because, yeah, anyway. You can make your own jokes about wiggling. It's fine. But I guess the main thing with this is that it's the support that you can get from... I'm really screwing this up, and I am sorry, because it's really tough to try to... I'm trying to talk about someone that everyone knows. It's really weird, so this is coming off as more of a commentary thing than anything else. I guess the best thing that I could do is just say, what I've taken from it, and that it's... Aside from being able to look at someone and say, this is where, they started where I started. And, I mean, I'm not that far off from where I started. But I have made some progress. And you've probably made progress as well. It's been 6 months of doing this. So I think, by now, we have a good idea as to what we're doing, what's working, what's not working. But every now and then, it's nice to see someone that has actually achieved what we're trying to achieve. Just so that we can say, no matter how slow it goes, no matter how frustrated we get, no matter how many times we just sort of sit back and just think, what's the point? And whether it's just having a rough day or a rough week, or whether you're looking back over a month's period, which I did 2 or 3 months ago, where I moved like a pound or 2 in the period of a month, because I gained and then I lost and then I gained and I lost. So when you get to those points when you're saying it's so frustrating. And, I mean, you can say, look at the big picture and say, okay, well, over 6 months, you've lost 40 pounds or 50 pounds or however much you've lost. Yes, you can look at that, and logic tells you that you are making progress and that you will get to where you need to be, but we don't always follow logic. Every now and then, we're still just going to go, no, it's not working, even though we know that it is. So it's nice to be able to look at someone that's already achieved that and has, started where we started, and then to see where they are now, and just to sort of give you that little boost. And everyone always says, oh, it's motivation, and it is. It's just for some reason that word is just sort of, I don't know, it comes across as corny, but it's true. When you look at someone that has already achieved what you're looking to do, and then you see where they started, there are some times that you can look at it, and I mean, this is part of the reason why I started this, when I very first started doing this. I didn't just sort of want to come on and say, hey, I've already lost the weight, here's how I did it. It's a little different than watching someone actually progress as they go along and sort of stumble when you're stumbling and giving you the support when you need support. But aside from being able to see someone that has already achieved that, you can look at where he started, you can see where he is now, and it does give you that hope to say, you know what, I know I can do it. I just need to stick with it. It's going to take time. We've known that right from day one. It's not ever going to be anything that you're going to say, well, I got to where I wanted to be in 3 or 4 months. Everything was good. This is going to be a lifelong thing. But on top of that, on top of being able to see someone and just sort of give you that little bit of a boost, it's nice to be able to see someone that still hasn't forgotten where they came from and what it's like. There are some people, and we brought this up before, like ex-smokers, when they're done smoking and they'll just say, oh, it's a filthy habit, you're disgusting, why don't you quit? And you just think you've completely forgotten how difficult it is to quit smoking. Like, it took you 10 years to get to where you are now, so don't preach at me. And, I don't think that's something that any of us really have experienced. The weight loss thing is a little bit different. You don't really find a lot of people that have taken the weight off and then are just really sort of high and mighty and snarky towards fat people anymore, because it's never just if you're a smoker, then yes, people will sort of make little comments here and there, oh, you should quit, and those things will kill you. But you don't really get people, when you're a smoker, teasing you, calling you, a fat shit, and, just openly laughing at you. You don't get that emotional attack along with it. So when you do lose the weight, that stays with you forever. And I think that's something that's really, really helpful. Although tragic as it may seem, it is helpful, because no matter what your body shape is, and no matter when you're gonna, or what you're gonna, I completely screwed that one up. No matter what your body shape goal is, when you reach that, you're never ever going to sort of get to that point, hopefully anyway, where you can say, oh, fat people are disgusting, you're just gross, why don't you lose the weight? Because you're going to remember what that's like. And he does. And I think in a lot of ways, it still sort of sticks with him. He gets very defensive when people do attack, others. There was, depending on when you're watching this, it could have been recent, it could have been very, very long ago. The whole internet exploded and just went batshit crazy with a video from a comedian. And just the reactions from different people. I've got a playlist on my channel anyway, of just different people, the reactions that they had. His is in there as well. And you can see that it still cuts. Anything like that, it still hurts. And it's because, not necessarily just directed at him, but directed at any fat person. And it's still to a point that, I mean, I can make fun of myself. I don't mind. I call myself names all the time. That's okay. I can do that to myself. I don't like it when someone does it to someone else. And because we've always gotten to, you've probably done the same thing where you sort of laugh it off or you make fun of yourself first. It's a defense mechanism, but it still cuts. And no matter where we get to with our weight, and you can see this with him as well, that even though he's to a point that many of us are striving for, that we want to get there, those tender spots are still there, and I think they always will be. But it's nice to be able to see that, not to see someone get hurt, but to see someone that, that still understands. It's one thing to look at someone that's been, healthy all their life and say, well, here's what you need to do, lose weight and bodybuild and all the other stuff. Yes, it's fine. It's motivating. It can get you going, and you can say, that's what I want to achieve. It's a whole other thing to look at someone who's been where we are and has achieved it, and yet they still remember, deep down, they still remember what it's like to be where we are. So you're not just watching someone that you don't get it, you don't understand how difficult it is, you don't understand, the ridicule and just the self-consciousness and the self-loathing and everything else that sort of goes along with it. he's someone that really does understand, and I think is still affected by it in a lot of ways. That, he's done what he can to help so many other people get to a point where, at the very least, that they can get things started. That, and it's not a matter of saying, well, you need to do this because you're disgusting. It's a matter of saying, I feel so much better because I've done this. I know what it's like to just constantly hate yourself and just not like what you see in the mirror. And no, just because I was going to sort of correct myself and go, it's not just physical, it's all the health stuff, and we know that anyway. I shouldn't have to re-explain that every single time, I suppose, but, I do feel the need to. But, so this has sort of been more of a commentary than an introduction. I mean, as I say, if you're watching me, then you've watched him. You know exactly who he is. Just the amount of help that he's provided to so many people, whether it's actually physical help with weight loss, or even just having that emotional support that's there, knowing that there's someone out there that does remember what it's like and that they still experience that. And no matter where they get to, they're still, they're still going to carry that with them. As sad as it may be, misery does love company, but it is encouraging to a lot of people. And I mean, you see that in the responses that he gets and the people that he's helped. And there are a lot of people that are already on our channel, the YouTubers that are in there, that have subscribed to him and that they watch him. I actually hadn't even added him. I hadn't subscribed because I had been sort of consciously avoiding going in and watching every video all the time because, again, I didn't sort of want to just latch on to something and say, well, then I'm just going to do the exact same thing, because that's cheap and shitty. Anyway, but I think we sort of found our footing. It's only taken us 200 days, but I think we're all right. But anyway, that's pretty much what it is. This is nothing new. I'm still going to put him into the playlist because it's on the off chance, and I can't imagine how you don't know who he is. If you're watching this, then he's probably on the side. He's going to be in there somewhere of all the other videos on weight loss. He's usually up in the top spot. So, but I guess, I mean, it's sort of there's so many of us that are in there that we're just starting out. We're trying to lose weight. So, I mean, I think a lot of us are doing the YouTube thing to have some accountability, just to share that, to let other people know that you're not alone out there, that there are a lot of us that are trying to do what you're trying to do, or a lot of us that have had those difficulties and that have stumbled and year after year after year tried to lose weight and we didn't lose weight. And for whatever reason, whether it's a matter of us just failing to do it or health reasons or laziness, mine's primarily, I think, laziness, and just not, or just the flat fact of, the flat fact of just simply not wanting to stop eating. And really, more than anything, I think more than laziness, the laziness thing is part of the exercise thing, but I guess for me, it's just the fact that I just didn't want to stop. It's like any other addiction. You can say, oh, I can quit anytime I want. Well, yeah, you probably could, but you don't want to. So it's just the fact that I just didn't want to stop gorging on everything, and I still don't. That's the hard part, that every now and then, Sunday's a prime example, every now and then I still have that craving where I just want to eat everything. Thing is, I just simply can't anymore because I will get sick and I will throw up. Anyway, so I'm going to put him into the channel there, and I mean, I would say he's a lot like Kimonica in that he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. There's a lot of support there, and as I say, if you're one of the few people in the world that don't know who he is, then maybe you'll go, oh, this is brand new information. Can't imagine it, but you never know. So I'll put him in there. But, so this is, as I say, it's not really an introduction. It's more of a, here's what I think, and here's why I think it's a good thing, and why I think that you should go up and take a look. I'm saying to think an awful lot. I'm trying to get around and say, okay, this is why I think that support system is so good, and why there is that success there, and the benefits of going up and being able to share that community again with someone else, but it's not coming out right. Actually, it kind of did there for a second, didn't it? I think I'm okay. Alright, so anyway, babbling on and on and on. So, I'm going to end this video here, roughly. I keep feeling like there's one more thing I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it is. Yes, I don't want to prioritize people. I was thinking actually of just sort of putting them at the top along with Kimonica, just to move them, because it's just where the majority of people that we have in there are people that are, you know, just sort of starting out and going through things. But these are two people that really have achieved what we're trying to achieve, and that they continue to do it. And they're really sort of in the top spot, but I'm going to keep them in alphabetical order for the time being. I might change it later, but for right now, they're easiest to find that way, because my hope is that we're going to have a whole bunch of people in there, and it's just going to be much, much easier to find them if they're all in alphabetical order. So I will do that as well. So he'll be under O. Anyway, so for right now, I'm going to end this video here, because I still feel like there's something I was supposed to say. I can't remember what it is. I know I'm going to remember the second I stop recording. If I do, I'll put a note here. Is there anything there? Alright, anyway, I'm going to end this video here now, so for the third time. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.